This is Gangsta Goddess Radio on BeExposedRadio.com.
Free stuff for you just for listening to this station. Yo, we got your attention? Here's how it works. You click on the radio loyalty banner right now and sign up. Then you keep on listening like you already do. But now you earn points. Those points add up, and you can trade them in for cool stuff in the radio loyalty store. Earn more points by sharing your station with friends on Facebook and Twitter, answering surveys, and by using the apps in the New Players App Store. Pretty simple. Free stuff just for doing what you already do. Radio loyalty. Click the banner to join now.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
You're listening to the station with their ear to the streets. BeExposedRadio.com.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hello, world, and we are back. You are fortunately tuned into Gangsta Goddess Radio, and I am in the studio now. I keep saying Todd Courtney Edwards. Do you go by that? What do you want to be called?
Well, as I've gotten older, I've grown to love my name, Todd Courtney.
Todd Courtney.
But I am affectionately known as Curvy Ballerina.
Tell him, Curvy Ballerina. So, you may not all know, because you may just be tuning in today, but I actually had the chance to meet you in the dance world. Mm-hmm. Yes, we got together, you laid some choreography down, and I go in the corner and I ask God to help me to be able to execute properly, but always I have been impressed with your... you are not afraid to try something new. Mm. You are definitely not afraid to bring things out of people that they may not necessarily want out. And at that time, it was modern dance. It was a piece that we did, and it was a good time. So I want you to first just introduce yourself, just to let them know where you are and where your background as a dancer started. I want them to hear that.
Okay, well, I am the founding director of Ballet After Dark, LLC, which is a concierge fitness company for ladies. We provide empowering ballet dance fitness workshops for women who are in the process.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
We on, brother? We live, everybody. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Black by the Band radio show. I'm your boy, Brother Mike. It's another exciting episode of BBD Radio. So let me go ahead and introduce my guest. First of all, we got Mr. Jason Gomes back.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome back, Jason.
How you doing?
Welcome back, my brother. Welcome back. Jason's been with us on the first few shows and disappeared on us for a while. He was out counting all that money, you know. Yeah. Sometimes people got to stay away for a little bit. They got so much. All right, so beside my man Jason, I want to welcome back my boy Jay Capone, the barber. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, bro?
Chilling, brother. Good to have you back, man.
Yes, sir.
And last but not least, my brother in arms over here, Mr. Derek Woodson.
How's everybody doing?
What's going on, Derek? Another day.
Yes, sir.
So how's everybody doing today, man?
Pretty good.
Pretty good?
Good.
Everybody have a good weekend? Anything uneventful, as they say?
No, not for me.
No?
No.
Another day in the land of the living? So, let's, before we even get into today's show, I just want to go over something real quick, right? Current event. So what do y'all think about this situation with the police? This cop that's supposed to testify. And,
It's funny.
yeah, you know, it popped up, you know, dead. And any thoughts on that? I mean, you think they took care of him, man, because he was breaking the code, or what you think, man? Because it sounds a little suspicious. Sounds a little suspicious. Y'all know what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Baltimore City cop, I believe it was.
It's funny because I get the little updates on what's that WAB or whatever on Facebook. So when it first happened, and they kind of say knew it was a black suspect. Oh, it's thug this, Baltimore thug that, nigga this, nigga that.
Right.
I said, okay, here we go again.
Right.
Then a week later, it come out, oh, he was supposed to testify, and then he might have been killed by his own. Oh,
that's what it's
they
looking
need to
like, at least.
investigate this. It's so sad. No, you were just calling us thugs just a minute ago. Now you all sad and stuff. It is funny how people just change the subject when it kind of say fit state narrative,
Right.
instead of getting all the information.
Right.
And you got to think too. He was in probably one of the roughest parts of West Baltimore. 4:30 in the morning. So he's gonna get out his car, go to an alley to chase a suspect when his backup is right up the street.
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting. Like,
No lighting. He got in a struggle. So you mean to tell me if he's chasing a murder suspect, he's not gonna have his service
right
undrawn and
right.
ready and with his hand on? When they pull you over, it's so he's down there in the worst part of whatever, and he's from this place.
Right.
It's highly unlikely. When do you see an officer get killed with his own gun?
Yeah, that was even stranger. You know what I mean?
Right.
That it was his weapon that they popped him with. God.
Yeah,
Dang,
so-
My thing that got me the most is that he got a headshot. You know what I'm saying? Oh, pardon me, y'all. He got a headshot. You feel what I'm saying? So, end of the day is, I'm like, there's so many innocent bystanders in Baltimore City getting hit. You know what I'm saying? So, this miraculous day, he get a headshot.
Yeah, that's execution.
Exactly.
That's execution.
A day before he's supposed to testify against
right.
basically the whole BPD.
Yeah, you know, see, for me, I always said, you know, like, they're gang members, man. You know what I mean? Like, people can say what they want. The police are gang members.
Right.
And, you know, it sounded like he was violating some of the gang rules. So the gang took care of him.
So what's so funny is that, right? So in our community, if someone snitches, we're seen as whatever, right? So technically, he was snitching, and you see how they handled the snitch.
Right,
It's-
right.
That's
I mean, you can look at it how you want to, but
Right.
he went to go talk about
doing the right thing.
doing the right thing, because even in our community, even if someone was doing wrong and you have nothing to do, you're still viewed as if any type of talent viewed as snitching. So they want you, when they come in and talk to you and sit you down in the interrogation room, they want you to talk.
Right.
But when one of their own talks, he ends up dead.
Well, you know, it's funny because, like, the police don't respect snitches either.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like, they want you to snitch, but, like, they not looking at you in no positive light.
Yeah. They just get the information that they need.
Excuse me. But, yeah, afterwards, they go in the other room like, yeah, you know, your boy just snitched on you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They go in the other room and dime you out.
No allegiance.
No allegiance
He
whatsoever.
told you the first 5 seconds.
So it just seems like another gang killing to me.
told
And I'm
him
just
to
saying,
do it.
call it for what it is. You all wear the same colors. You all carry
Right.
guns.
You saw us
You know, you
wore
mess
oath.
with one, you got to deal with the rest of them. Sounds real
But-
gang
but
affiliated
when you
to
think,
me.
when you think about it, and I'm just looking at it from just an unbiased, like, it actually was pretty smart whoever did it, right? Because I'm gonna tell you what, if you get killed with your own service weapon,
Right.
when you do forensics, the buck stops there. So what else? Because they know where the bullet came from. So there's
No
nothing.
gun,
there's
no
there's nothing to
investigation.
check. There's
Right. Yeah,
they
that's
made it, so it stops there.
Right.
It makes a lot of sense.
At the end of the day, And you mean to tell me,
there ain't no cameras probably out there either.
let's just be honest, right? Somebody who's willing to do a headshot most likely has a criminal record. If you, I mean, and I'm not saying there's not killers who don't get caught, but in those drug-infested areas, people be, so it's like you're chasing a murder suspect, and let's just keep it real. Them dudes in them areas who hustle been in and out of jail. It's like, how can they not find it? They find, whenever they need to find something, they find it. But this particular one, they just don't find anything a day. But I just find it, it's just...
This was like the murder of Tupac.
Yeah.
Still trying to figure out what happened.
And how fast could he have gotten away? Because when they said that the partner was right there, I don't know. It just doesn't, like, it doesn't make any sense to me.
It sounds right to me when they said a homicide detective got killed. They usually on the scene after everything that went down. So for him to get killed, kind of say like that, it drew a red flag to me, because when I was in the shop and I heard about it, I was like, that don't sound right. But then, a week later,
it definitely sounds suspicious.
I seen First 48. They don't come out till after everybody dead.
Right.
So for him to be out there, a homicide detective.
Yeah, it sounds suspicious to me. You know, I just thought I'd ask, see what y'all take was on it, because I was looking at it, I'm like, wow, man, like, you know, it's like sometimes you look at these situations and realize, like, man, they're not even hiding it anymore.
Nope.
You get what I'm saying? They ain't even hiding it no more. You know, like everybody named Mama, knows.
Because they're the
ones. Some foul plays involved.
They have to again. That's why I said by him being killed with his own service weapon, they do the investigation. So what is there to investigate? There's not even another gun to investigate.
Right.
There's no suspect. They put out a $250,000 award that they were never going to give anybody.
Right. Shook down all of West Baltimore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Tipped it off.
Gave everybody the blues. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so that's what I saw in current events, man. And we'll tie that into today's show. So on today's show, we are going to talk about the law of compensation. You know, for my audience out there listening, you guys can participate with us. Today's show is going to be on the law of compensation. You can call in at 410-702-5657. That's 410-702-5657. Again, I do apologize to my audience for my voice. It was off last week as well. Something got a hold of me, man. Some type of cold. I ain't had a cold in years. And, you know, I ended up getting a cold, man. I'm like, this is horrible.
Right.
So I'm still working through that, but it's getting a little bit better. But, yeah, so we're going to talk about the law of compensation, which happens to be one of the 12 universal laws. So there's 12 universal laws. I did a show on the law of attraction. So the law of attraction is one of those 12. I think the law of attraction might have been like number 4 or number 7. So this is another one of the 12 universal laws. So I want to see, you know, if this applies to even like that current situation that we were just talking about. You know, because the law of attraction, I'll tell you, it's the law that states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put out into the universe. So this law is basically the law of cause and effect. You know what I mean? So the law of compensation deals with cause and effect. So that's what we're going to talk about on today's show. I think it should be interesting because I think these are things that amongst the black community, we don't have these type of conversations. Like you might catch this conversation on Oprah or something.
Right.
You get what I mean? But like it ain't something that we talk about. So I try to, you know, keep topics that is along the lines of something new where, you know, the audience listening might be able to learn a couple things and we might be able to learn a couple things because, you know, I'm not an expert on all of this stuff. I'm just familiar with it. So, yeah, the law of compensation. Now, have any of you guys, are you familiar with the law of compensation? Do you have an idea of what it deals with? Anybody?
Just it's about reaping what you sow, and what it's like. What value you offer someone is the value you'll get in return.
Right. Reaping what you sow is definitely a form of the law of compensation. So, with that being said, we might have already kind of been living by this in our life without even knowing it, because sometimes we get universal laws coming to us in different ways. Right. So, when you think about cause and effect, that's just another technical way of speaking about the law of compensation. And then you have things like karma. people are familiar with karma. Still law of compensation. And then reaping what you sow, like Jason said. You know what I mean? So you might get that from the spiritual side. But it still adds up to the law of compensation. You know what I mean? Which is pretty cool. So, but that's what it is. It's compensation in direct proportion to what we put out into the universe. So it's basically cause and effect. So it says when we talk about compensation, many people assume we're talking about money or monetary rewards. These things are compensation. They are not the only form of compensation. We are talking about blessings given to us in return for our deeds, our thoughts, our words, our feelings. That's interesting, because this is also it's a form of accountability, which the law of attraction deals with a type of accountability too, because it's saying, you're being compensated for what you are contributing.
I think that's hard for a lot of people to accept.
Yeah, I think so, and I can see why.
Yeah.
I can definitely see why. But give me your take. Why do you think people would struggle with accepting that, understanding that?
Because you have your so a lot of people will say, okay, you have people who are like social, right? But if you really look at that, when I see it now, like now that you said that, people who are social, so you have someone who's constantly out here networking, right? And being around people and listening to them and doing all that. If you look at that, they'll probably get more than a person who just sits at home.
Okay.
So, and a lot of times you might have the person who sits at home and be like, oh, I don't do nothing, I don't rock with nobody, I don't do this and I don't do that. But in reality is, I could even see that in that simple way of looking at it, that person will probably be compensated more because they're out, maybe even in networking, they're giving value to people.
Okay.
Just through conversation or giving a specific type of knowledge that the other person may not know. Well, I'm just generalizing.
Yeah. I got you. Jay, what about you? You have any familiarity with the law of compensation? Do you think it's applied in your life before?
Yeah, because you kind of say you speak, and I wouldn't say you speak your future, but whatever you put out in the world, that's what you're going to get back. You live this type of lifestyle, you're going to get that back.
Okay.
So if you go to work every day, you mind your business, nothing should too bad happen to you. But if you're on the block every day, you run into certain people all the time, you do dirt, dirt gonna find you. So it's definitely you gotta watch what you do, but you run in those type of circles. It all depends on, it's your choice on what kind of circles you run into, but we all gotta answer and bite that bullet when it comes.
I hate biting that bullet.
You gotta
Mr.
do it.
Woodson, what about you? Any familiarity with the law of compensation?
I mean, as far as like karma, I done got bit a couple times by that bug.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
karma.
Yeah, so that basically, like I look at it now, like working. I see that as I'm out there working now, I'm seeing the benefits of it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting a whole bunch now, but I see the benefits of it. About working, I'm getting compensated by putting the work in.
Right.
And then on Fridays, I get the compensation back.
Okay.
So that's about it.
So this guy that just got taken out, this cop. Law of compensation. Did he put something in the universe that would bring this back to him? Did he kill somebody before? You get what I'm saying? Well, when you look at this law, that's something to consider, right?
Yeah, and that is true. And also that other people still have control in the matter too, because if somebody else wants to do something, they're gonna do it. But that's also their law. Also, so I'm just saying that in his situation, other people still had hands in the situation.
Right.
So their compensation may be coming back too, eventually.
I look at it like this: in order for him to know what's going on, he had to be a part of it.
True that.
Mm-hmm. So therefore, by him, they're looking at it like this: this is his karma, because now he was with this. Just say, he was with this before. Now all of a sudden you get a change of heart. You want to flip the script on us? Nah, we ain't rocking like that.
Gang rules.
You know what I mean? We ain't rocking like that. He gotta live this.
He was in there for 20 years, so I'm pretty sure he's seen something or
Damn, was he a 20-year vet?
18, so 20. Yeah, 20 years.
God, they just took him out.
See, a change of heart doesn't have. See, people fail to realize a change of heart has nothing to do with the concept of what's going on. You change on your own time, not on ours. You know what I mean? You want to go straight and do what you got to do? Cool. It's cool with us.
Right.
But leave us where we at. And he felt like his change of heart to do the right thing was going to cost them their lives.
Yeah.
So.
And it cost him his life.
Exactly.
Yeah, it sounds like he was trying to do the right thing.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing the right thing,
Right.
but you have to understand that doing the right thing, you got to weigh your options now.
Right.
Yeah.
You do.
And this the karma thing, the law of compensation. You got to weigh your options because now what you're about to do, what comes back on you have to accept. There's no tears. There's no we're upset for him right now. He knew what he was doing.
Right.
Okay.
He's
True.
related to the beast. That's
There's
when
no
you gotta
tears when you
bite
get
that
out there.
bullet.
Yeah, there's no tears.
Well, you really fit the bullet.
Oh, man, now that's a terrible way to go out, man, if you think you're doing something good.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah, but we got, like you said, we got to weigh. Maybe that's one good act, but maybe he did out of 100, maybe he did 99 bad ones too. So
Exactly.
you have to decide at a certain point. Once you decide to do wrong, I hate to say it like this, you almost have to stick with that. Like you got to make it. When you got to make a decision, when you make a decision, you got to be like, okay, this is one thing, right? Sometimes one right doesn't make up for 99 wrongs. If you on a certain path, and you know he was probably close to, he put 20 years in, he was close to it.
Right.
Say he been doing this for 18 years.
Right.
You got to be like, I've been doing this for 18, and maybe I'm gonna keep my, because sometimes there are decisions you have to make. Sometimes you have to keep your mouth shut.
You do.
I know it's people don't want to hear that.
Right. No,
but
that's
as you
true.
can see, it cost him his life.
Sure.
At the end of the day.
The whole freedom of speech thing is an illusion.
Absolutely.
You know, like it's only freedom of speech as long as you ain't saying nothing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? As long as you are not saying anything that's going to have an effect on the system itself, then you can have freedom of speech. So as long as you just talking crazy and ain't saying nothing that's going to improve anything, say like for black people, or bring justice to a situation.
Right.
As long as you're not doing that, then you have freedom of speech.
And it comes into morals and ethics, right? So even that's kind of funny because like if I have my say I have a child, right? I don't have any children, but say and I see danger and I see something that I can probably stop, but I have my baby,
right.
I'm probably not going to be that moral or ethical in that I'm going to get my child the hell out of there. So that's what I'm trying to say. So they'll do. You hit the nail on the head. Like at a certain point, if you're gonna be ethical, but don't be ethical at the last minute.
Absolutely, you can't do it.
Yeah,
you swore an oath. In the beginning, you swore an oath.
He took that gang oath.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's your initiation.
But he
took that gang oath.
You swore your life
I swear to uphold.
And he was tripping because he knows the hidden rules of that situation.
Yeah.
I don't know
I forgot what it's called. It's called something. I think Brothers in Blue or something like this. It's a code of conduct. Amongst them.
It's just gang
and
shit.
Talking to the FBI about all the dirt
shit.
that y'all
I don't see no
done.
difference between the police and the Crips and the Bloods and MS-13 and all that other shit. It's just gang shit. They all rock colors and carry guns and throw up signs.
Yeah,
it was a gang hit.
But see, the thing about it, most people come into all reality about believing in something, and even in gangs, whatever they have, they were taught something, saying this is a benefit. You know what I'm saying? And then in the end result, they don't see the jail, the drugs, the raping, the robbing, the stealing. Now these guys get up there and they pledge to, well, I'm gonna be a peace officer, because that's all you are, a peace officer. You're here to create peace.
Right.
Not to shoot, not to harm, to create peace. Now, some people are willing to do that. Now, when you get in there, you got my man over there. He didn't rob 2 stash houses.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Right,
he didn't gun down a person down the street and put a gun on him, put coke in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Now you're seeing all these things. Either get with it
or get out. That's it. You can't be in it for 20 years and make decisions. Because
Jason, we gotta go to break.
Okay.
We gotta go to break. Yeah, sound like it's a get down, lay down type situation. But look, we're gonna take our first break. We'll be back. Stay tuned. Black by the Band Radio Show. I'm your boy, Brother Mike. We'll be back. Yeah, sound like a get down, lay down.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Be Exposed Radio.
Let me do that.
There's certain things for everybody.
Yeah, like,
you know what I mean?
There's a time and a place for everything. Maybe if I'm sitting down reading a book and then I'm like, all right, cool. Let me throw this Lupe on, get this real lyrical going on, and maybe I see a whole nother side of something. But if I'm sitting down with a bottle, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Like, You might turn on the right Lupe song, you feel me? And because I'm drunk, I'm going to get lit for it.
Right.
But, yeah, for the most part.
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Shepsworth Bentley. And make sure you guys check out Homegrown Radio every Sunday, 7 to 8 p.m. right here on BeExposedRadio.com. It's new, fresh, Baltimore radio.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Check out this snippet from the new season of Talk Lately with Monty about Jennifer Holliday.
Anyway, let's get back to...
Yeah, well, what I wanted to say is that I can understand 100% where Jennifer Holliday is coming from, and that's sort of kind of where my 20% came from. When I basically came out and said who I voted for, I received a lot of backlash. Even on my own talk show, which comes on every Monday from 5 to 7 p.m., I was called a coon. Okay, yeah, shout out for the plug. But yeah, someone actually, they told CJ Bernie that I was a coon, and that really hurt me. I've been called everything from a fat whatever and everything, but someone actually commented on his Facebook
I didn't even say that. That's kind of rough.
Called me a coon, but it's
coon?
It's crazy because I just feel like someone like Jennifer Holliday. I understand why she stepped down, but I'm kind of upset with her because I think she still should have performed. If you're going to jump out there, then stand in your truth. Don't let no one stop you or change your mind about anything. And listen, no one put a gun to her head and made her sign on for that. But it just seems like, she was basically, she was bullied.
But see, the thing about it is they will put a gun to her head to not do it.
I don't think so.
Well, that's what the threat says. You gotta say it's why it's called a threat. You don't know the hypotheticals in there that could happen to you.
Why do you think
she's not a well-known singer, so she's not going around with security. Since she goes to get her tracks at the mall,
right?
Pow!
Right, but at the same time,
we got a whole bunch of dead cats.
Yeah, but like what she said in the footage, today on The View was basically it's not white people who was threatening her. It was us who was threatening her.
Right. Where do you think she live? I think she live in Atlanta.
Exactly.
They gonna get her at the Ku Klux Klan mall and drag her by her hair. Her hair made a cat. She got the new weave.
I don't have Jennifer Holliday money, honey. I don't know what it might be because it's. I don't got Jennifer Holliday money, but. Me personally, I feel as though, like I said, once I kind of came out, and even being on this show, because I'm pretty sure the headline says Trump supporter, I'm putting a lot of myself out there. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
Football, you basically have a good 10 to 12 years, and that's what it is.
When you have a lot of people retiring early, it's funny. A lot of me and my alumni from UVA, where I graduated from, one of our fellow Wahoos, he retired yesterday, 32 years old. To Brickashaw Ferguson, and he's been in the league like 10 or 12 years. So like you said, a lot of guys are making that change on their own now because they're seeing a lot of things from the the concussion movement,
right?
Stuff that's been happening. Is not the noun, it's the effects later, because you see different stories of men are in like their 50s and some are committed suicide because of the banging and the voices or the concussions. And
did you see that?
I haven't got a chance to see it. But
not the movie, but did you see those effects?
I have seen concussions in college where guys have played that whole entire game and didn't realize they was at a football game.
Wow.
But like before the big emphasis came about whole concussions and what's going on, we was taught you just run to the wall. You can't be soft. You shake it off and get back in it. So
the wrong attitude to have.
Right.
Yeah. It's really internal. Like you really doing damage, not just to your bones,
right,
but to your mind.
Everything. Right. And later on down the line, because just like you said, once the game is over, when you've been in a game and you think about it, because I tell people the NFL, any sports, whether it's male or female, is a semi-military, because you're told when to get up, when to work out, what to eat, when to play. All right, now you got a curfew. You got to be in the bed by this time. You do it for years and years, and all of a sudden, bam, it's done. So what do you do?
Right.
So just like the military that have with PTSD, we have that because we so used to having a certain way. And I remember watching this Brian Gumbel on HBO. It was like years ago, and a guy.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Black Minded Man Radio Show. I'm your host, Brother Mike. In case you guys missed the top of the show, today we are talking about the law of compensation, which happens to be one of the 12 universal laws. We actually did do a show on one of the other universal laws, which was the law of attraction. So I'll probably do a couple more, just to kind of give insight, because I think, these are conversations that are not typically happening amongst my people. My peoples. All right, so the law of compensation, I'll go over it again what it is. Okay, so it's one of the 12 universal laws that states we are compensated in direct proportion to what we put into the universe. Okay, these compensations can come in the form of money, material possessions, friendships, relationships, experiences, and wealth of other things. It all depends on what you expect to receive for any given deed or task you perform. All of these things come to you in proportion to the deeds you perform, the thoughts you have, the feelings you have, and that which you put into the universe. All right, so now this is starting to get a little interesting, because they're saying that the law of compensation is not just about monetary gain. This deals with friendships, relationships, experiences, right? And material possessions. So let's go over, let's do material possessions first, right? So the law of compensation can help you get material possessions. How? Does anybody have a clue? I mean, I'll tell you what it says, but can y'all think of anything that would yield material possessions? I think with this one, like if you've given a lot to charity, you give to charity, you give to people who need, you got something that they could use, you don't really mess with it. You like, I just gave it to my cousin. Or I gave it to my friend or whatever. So I think they're saying through the law of compensation, because you are so generous, giving out your material possessions, that more material possessions will come to you.
Oh, okay.
See how that works?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, what do we think? Do you guys think that is true? Can you think of, like, looking at things you've given away and then things that have come back to you along those lines?
I gave away a vehicle and then turned around. I got approved for another.
See, that could be law of compensation.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? That could be it. Anybody else? Any examples of having material possessions come to you, and it was because of your behavior? Like I'll give you one for me, right? If I find somebody's wallet, I'm taking your money. I'm just telling you that. I'm taking your money. That's the finder's fee, right? I'm taking your money because I don't know who you are, right? But I'm going to mail you back your ID, your credit card. I'm not going to use your credit cards. I'm not going to use your ID. I'm going to try to put that in the mail and get that back to you because I know how important that is. But the money I'm probably keeping. Saying I got to pay for stamps. I'm just saying I got to pay for stamps, right? Okay, so that's how I get down, right? I've lost my wallet before and had it returned to me without the money in it. You understand what I'm saying? So, and I was cool with that because, like if you find my wallet and it's got $225 in it, I know you're going to keep it. We all need money, right? But if my ID comes back through the mail and my credit cards and all that, I just paid $225 to get my shit back, which you was going to pay that anyway. Yeah, when you're thinking about the to get all them cards and all that stuff back. So I believe that every time I've lost my wallet, it's come back to me because I always return people's stuff back to them. But I'm not going to lie, I will keep the money. I'm just being honest, you know what I mean? Because most people will keep your money and then throw your ID in the trash. Right. You understand what I mean? So I'm just going to keep the money, but I will put your ID in the mail. And for those who don't know, if you find someone's ID, you can just drop it in the mailbox. Right. And the mailman will take it back to them. Oh, okay. Yeah, they'll mail it back. So I just put their stuff in the mailbox. If it's a wallet, like one time I went into, well, actually, I didn't. My mother went into a Royal Farms bathroom, found older white woman's wallet. She had her credit cards in there, ID and all that. So my mom gave it to me. You know what I mean? She's like, I'll give it to you. You do whatever you're going to do. So I'm like, well, I'm taking the cash out immediately. She had like $180 in there. Score. That's me right there. That's me. Score, right? But she had, the little older woman, so she had a little purse thing and other little items. So I took all that and boxed it up, and I mailed all that back to her. I just kept the paper. It's finder's fee. I mean, if you lose money, you cannot honestly think you're getting that money back. If you do, that was just a super, super duper good person. But I guess I still have to evolve a little bit where I can not take the money. I'm taking the money. But my wallets come back to me when I lose it because I try to return everybody else's wallet. Right. So that's an example to me of your material possessions, because I return people's material possessions. They return them to me. And my money's always going. But I'm cool with that because their money would have been gone too. So what about friendships? Ooh, that's a good one. Law of compensation with friendships.
Yeah, I believe in that because being that I'm 30, I'm always messing with people like 40, 50s.
Right.
I'm not too much. People back home probably my age I mess with, but people my age up here,
okay,
they're not on the same path I'm on.
Right,
so to speak. I got stuff to lose, so I can't be doing some of the stuff they be doing.
Right. Hey, I'm with you on that, brother. You know what I mean? That's a good way to think. Don't get involved in anything that can, dim your light.
It's beneficial because they still teach you. My thing is y'all been around the block.
Mm-hmm.
If you can see that it's a sinkhole over there, tell me so I know. And most times they tell me. So
okay.
That's what I want to get out of my elders, so to speak.
Right.
Little knowledge, little wisdom, and I can pass it on to mine.
That's what's up. Woodson, any examples of friendships that deal with the law of compensation? Like have you ever did something honorable to a friend and that was returned to you through another route, or have you ever did something that's a little, jacked up, a little dirty to somebody, and then later on something dirty got, done to you through one of your other friends?
Yeah, like I say, I got one homeboy, man. We've been rocking for, I want to say about 30 years.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My loyalty to him, you know what I'm saying, is, it's like my loyalty is so vast for him that, the times that he never questioned. If I'm ever in need, this friend, for me showing my loyalty for all these years, I never wavered. I never, went the other way with him. It was always 100 from 1990 to now.
Okay.
If I'm ever in harm's way, I can always count on this dude. You know what I'm saying? So that's my only, form of friendship for his law of conversation for that. Because my loyalty to him is like, that's how he rocks. We rock for these last 30 years.
So you feel like because of your loyalty, that loyalty's been returned back to you?
Absolutely.
That's a good
Jason, what about you?
And I'm going to go the opposite way. So I would say, we'll say law of compensation as far as karma. Because I was with this young lady, this woman, young lady for a long time, and I was doing all types of crazy stuff.
Oh, shit. Go ahead, brother. Keep on talking.
For years.
You was doing what to her?
So it always doesn't come back right away. So let's say we broke up, even 5 years, 3 years, time done passed.
Right.
And I dated this one young lady, and she gave me a run for my money, and that karma definitely came. Now, so you can think you're gonna avoid it and beat it.
Right.
Sometimes it just sits and waits, and it just chills for you because you're human, so you're gonna slip up.
Right.
You ain't above nothing. That's why I always laugh at people who talk that tough stuff. But it's always one. It's always one that hits you. Always
it's
one.
always somebody timing up for you.
Yeah.
It's always somebody timing up for you.
That definitely came back. So the karma. So I'm very careful about what I do and what I say now, because a lot of times I'll sit and think about what I say. I don't have an instant emotional reaction anymore with a lot of stuff, because when you say stuff, you can't take it back.
True.
I don't care, even if you just had a moment, even if you really didn't mean it. That other person is sitting there going, "Oh, okay, this is how I feel."
Right.
This waiting right in the bank. So you said when to go outside with it. Remember you said? There it is.
So I'll read a comment here. This is from my man Bronte Johnson, fellow barbers. What's up, Bronte? Big up to you, my man. Keep on cutting. So Bronte says, next time you find something like that again, just give it all back. At the end of the day, we're all blessed, and you will be blessed. That's very true, Bronte. And I'm going to try to evolve to get to that point. But something about money, when it gets in my hand, it wants to go to my pocket. But hopefully I get to evolve and make it to that level. But that's very, very true. I need to learn to give it all back. But I'm just being honest. I'm not. I'm not. I will find a bag of money that fell off the back of an armored truck and go to jail behind it. You heard me? I will bury it somewhere. Like, they gonna lock you up. That's all right. I'll get out eventually. They ain't getting that money back.
Sometimes you gotta be realist. When I lost my wallet years ago, I lost $700 in my wallet. I mean, I was hurt. I'm me thinking this. Now I gotta get my ID bag, Social Security card. I said, keep the money. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the finder's fee. Just give me back my wallet. You see what I'm saying? They threw my wallet away and kept the money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I at least get my wallet back.
That's why I said, I'm 50% there. I mean, Bronte's right. I should just return it all, but I just haven't evolved that far yet. But I'm going to keep on working, Bronte. I'm going to keep on working.
I got a question for him. And now, if you find a wallet, now your rent's due. We're going to keep it 100 on here today. If your rent is due and you find a $500 in the cash in a wallet and your rent is due, things ain't going your way, or you going to wait for that blessing, or you going to pay that rent right then and there? I'm a realist. Just keep it 100. You going to wait the next week to say, okay, the blessing's coming? No. Like they say, help me on the way?
Right.
No.
They say, you keeping that paper.
Right. I'm going
to pray about it.
Right. Go pray about it, right?
My man say, help us on the way. No, sir.
You be sitting there praying, and your girl be like, babe, you done praying yet? Nah,
right.
Because BGE's at the door. I don't know if finished yet.
Yeah,
I don't take them that money. You know what I mean? Now, Jason, what you was actually talking about was actually the next one, which is relationships. Law of compensation in relationships. Any examples?
Big bad karma.
Me personally, let's see. As far as relationships, I don't think I've had bad relationships throughout my life. So I'm going to say, I guess I'm experiencing the law of compensation with that. Like I'm speaking on my younger years, just for the record. I don't want no shit getting started. Just saying my experience, with women.
Oh, you gonna pay the rent, huh?
Yeah, I don't think I draw in like crazy females. You get what I'm saying? Like I know cats that like draw in like crazy chicks. You know what I mean? Seems like everyone he get with fighting, scratch his car up. You know what I mean? All kinds of stuff. I don't think I draw that in. So maybe that's a part of the law of compensation, you know what I mean? Because I guess I'm being compensated for what I put into a relationship. Like I try to be a good dude. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I do. You know what I mean? Like I always say, like I'm a good dude, but I'm a bad boy. It's the best I can tell you. You know what I mean? It covers all ends. You know what I mean?
Same thing.
Yeah, like I'm not finna, treat a woman the way she shouldn't be treated. I believe, black women should be treated like queens. But you also have to understand that I'm the king. That's all I'm saying. You understand what I mean? So that's been my route, and I haven't had, crazy relationships. What about y'all as far as relationships with females? Have you drawn in, something where you would sit back and say, why do I keep getting this type of female? You know what I mean? What am I doing? That's, as far as law of compensation.
If I'm going to be totally honest. Sometimes, like you said, there's nothing wrong with it. Most women are queens.
Yes.
I mean, you put them in that aspect as being queens. Most men are kings, but most men are kings have just as ways.
That's true. That's very true.
Just as ways, because and I put myself there because when it's time to be a man, I'm playing. Right. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to relax and chill, now I want to be this big man. It's too late.
Right.
It's too late. So therefore, in the laws of compensation in some relationships, I gotta wear that. I was a king doing just the ways. So
okay.
I gotta wear that.
So you think any relationships that we might have had, say it wasn't positive, right? Do you think it might have been the law of compensation for at some point you wasn't positive in somebody else's relationship?
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like you might have been a mess up 15 years ago, and then, you're 16, you end up with a female, and you really dig her, and you trying to do right, and then she ends up being the mess up. Is that the law of compensation coming back, or?
Well, I can see that. I can see that. To me, yeah, I can see that happening like that. But it's just, and sometimes you will get, if someone does mess up on you, sometimes you will get a blessing with maybe that next person or that person after that. So, because you might be rewarded later. So
right. Because I know with like women in particular, black women that I've spoken with, a lot of black women feel like that they keep drawing in the wrong kind of guy. So I'm saying if we apply the law of compensation as well as the law of attraction, because we spoke about that with the law of attraction. Is she personally responsible for bringing in, the type of person that's really not compatible, as well as are we responsible for bringing that female in?
Yes and no, because you also get rewarded through discipline. Because at the end of the day, it's one chick who I was talking to. I stopped talking to her recently because I know what my intentions were. So my thinking's different, and I knew that it wasn't ever gonna go nowhere. But yet, a lot of dudes be fronting like, even if you talk to a chick that's undesirable and you just trying to hit, right? You still have to put in some type of work, because even if you think she's still having some type of influence. Like, that's why you should never deal with nothing you don't want to deal with, because you still have to deal with it. Even if you're in that bedroom for an hour or 30 minutes, you're still spending time with that person.
Right.
So it's like a lot of times that you shouldn't be dealing with a person, or the person don't meet your standards, or they're not where you want to be, because you can't change nobody.
So you're ignoring the red flags.
You're ignoring the red flags. Men do it just through having an agenda of sex, but women do it through the agenda of not wanting to be by themselves, or wanting to be valued or viewed a certain way, because they're big on appearance of how things appear to be.
Okay.
You know, so. And I know that's probably gonna piss something off when they hear that right now.
Definitely.
That's true.
That's what the Black Body Man Radio Show does. We stimulate thought. So what about you, Jay? Relationships. And it doesn't have to be, relationship with like, female sexual type thing. It could be relationship with, family members or, or whatever. Any examples of how you thought the law of compensation?
I don't know. To me, I'm saying I don't kind of say do the drama. Everybody that know me, I'm the quiet dude, sit in the corner or whatever. I'll look and I'll listen. I don't have the energy to entertain drama or get loud. It takes for me a lot to get me mad. If you get me mad, I'm the credible Hulk.
Yeah, it's something to deal with, huh?
Yeah, it's just,
don't get Big J mad. Not on the Black Body Man Radio Show.
I don't even like to get mad, because I'm saying
Credible Hulk.
There's a lot of stuff like I was talking to my kids. I'm saying, even with my wife in the car, if I don't know you, I will openly shake your hand and be like, hey, I'm Jay. I'll give you the respect first, so you know you can give that joint back.
Right.
So now that you know that, it shouldn't be no problem. But if you open the door, disrespect people, and you put out that bad vibe among people, you're going to get that back. And that's what I know being up here, that people that like that down south, but up here is wild. But
a little different in Georgia.
Way different. Way different. I can go home right now. I've probably been gone 10 plus years, and I can see a friend from back in high school, and we can hug and kiss like we were talking to us last week or something.
Okay.
Up here, what you looking at me for?
Yeah, they say the further you go up north.
Why you gotta get ones in your truck?
That's what they say. The further you go up north, people get a little less polite.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
then being that we being older, it's a lot of stuff that we need to cut out. Being that as black men, we kind of say in the endangered species, we should become damn near brothers. Even though I don't know who you are, we should be brothers. It should be love anytime we see one another.
Endangered species. I see how you slipped that in there.
We are.
Is that what we are?
We're the most hated piece of meat on this planet.
You know what? I get what you're saying, but let me tell you why I disagree with the endangered species thing, right? And this is the only reason I say that black men ain't an endangered species. Because endangered species are protected.
Yeah.
And we are not. Okay? That goddamn eagle got more rights than you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So when you reach a level of endangered species, the one side is saying that you're being eliminated. Right. But the other side is saying, and you're being protected. Right, from that happening. So, so we just on the left side of that coin. You get what I mean?
You basically said what you said, that we are nothing. You know what I mean?
At least
you gave us a point up on that.
Right, yeah. At least in the view of the eyes of many. But, here at BBD, Black Body Man Radio Show, we love our people. We got love for all people. But, we love black people. We love trying to show black people, how we can evolve ourselves and bring about, as they say, the best you. We're trying to bring out the best us, so that's what we try to do here. I know, and I think this would be the law of compensation, right? When I first got my first dog, as a grown-up with my son. I had a little Jack Russell, right? Mm-hmm. Named him Jack, because I'm so original. Right? Named him Jack, right? And within like a year, he got killed. Just broke my heart, man. You know what I mean? Because, I just bought my first house. So there's my first dog, with my house. And he ended up getting killed. And I remember my son seeing how upset I was. Like, you know, I had tears coming out my eyes. My little buddy was gone, right? And I told my son, I said, it's my fault. And he said, Dad, why do you think it's your fault? You know, like Jack ran off. I said, yeah, but son, you don't understand. When I was about your age, I killed somebody's dog. Shot him square in his head and took him out. You understand what I mean? I was probably about 11, 12 years old with a BB gun. Now here I am later on, grown man, with my first dog, love him to death. He got taken out, bro. You understand what I mean? And I knew at that moment that that's why my dog
coming back.
Yeah, man. Had to explain that to my son, but I took it to use it as a lesson for my son, you know, to let him know. Stuff you do in life, you know, it come back for you, even if it's 20, 30 years later. So I know that that's why my dog got killed. So I had to bite that bullet, man. And, of course, I've gotten another Jack Russell since then, and now I've had him for, you know, almost 10 years. But I knew that's what it was. It was the law of compensation, man. You can't, you know, biblically live by the sword, die by the sword type thing. You know, so that's how I lost my dog. But look, let's go to our next break. We'll be back. Black by the Man Radio Show with your host, Brother Mike. Stay tuned, folks. Stay tuned. Yep.
Black by Demand Radio Show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right? Yeah. So my son's looking at me like, wow. And I broke down to him how we had got fixing flat tires down to a science. You understand what I mean? Sticking the tube in the water. Right? Talk to me, brother. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, critical thinking. And see, and we look at that now and like kids, they not as, you know, they not as on hands like we were back in the day.
That's because nowadays you don't have to put the bikes together anymore. They can come assembled.
Yeah, everything's coming assembled.
In the store, they ask you like if you want it already assembled.
Right, right.
Back then, you just got the box with 1,000,000 pieces.
Right, and today I don't think they could work with that.
It's just like the thought process. Nowadays, you get a bike that's already put together. Now, when you were younger, you had to put this bike together.
You got to put it together.
That basically closes your mind into learning how to do something.
Yes,
now you're giving it something. So, okay, you take this and this is what it is.
Right,
so now we have to run with this instead of teaching the child, this is how you put this together so you see the result as this.
Right, right. Critical thinking. I like that. So look, not to cut you off, Ms. Denise, but let's go to our first commercial break, and then we're going to come back and finish talking about critical thinking.
Be Exposed Radio.
And more money, let them know like you're gonna get a hit if you do some rap stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, appropriation, they be getting their money. I was just about to talk about that too. Appropriation. Is it appropriation when they do? Because you know Miley Cyrus. Like think about it. You got like Miley Cyrus. You had Justin Bieber, and you had like even Katy Perry and Pink. You remember? I don't know if y'all remember Pink. 'Cause she used to do like some hip hop stuff, some like R&B stuff too. Do you think that's appropriation? Are they taking from the culture without like?
I don't know. Like the way I look at it is, if it seems forced, then 9 times out of 10 it's not really them. Yeah. So then it's appropriation. You feel me? But if I hear sincerity and the genuineness in what you're doing, and if they decide to label it hip hop, and your skin ain't the typical hip hop skin, you feel me? I can accept that it's hip hop, like, cause hip hop is what we do. Like, you feel me? Like people don't look at it like that, but it is. Like, and Busy B himself told me that. You feel me? Like, rap is a thing that we do. You feel me? And hip hop is something that we live. Right. So if you telling me your truth, but your skin and my skin on opposite sides of the barrier, who am I to say that that's not?
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Everything stinking.
I had to put mine
stink.
We couldn't take him to the neighborhood we was going to, so we had to put him to sleep. So.
All right, we back on. All right, we back, everybody. Welcome back to the Black Body Man Radio Show. I'm your host, Brother Mike, and we are here today with my guest, Mr. Jason Gomes.
How you doing, everybody?
Jay Capone, the barber.
Yes, sir.
Brother in arms, Derek Woodson. So we are talking about the law of compensation. So we talking about relationships. So we believe this applies to relationships. Law of compensation, whether it's a relationship with a friend, with the opposite sex, or, all of that type stuff. We think this applies. We think it works. Definitely. Okay, so let's go over how they say it works. So they say this is how it works. Give what you have, be what you want to see, and those things will come back to you. This does not mean if you are broke, you should hand out all of your money. What it means is you should be generous in whatever way is within your means. When we are generous and proactive, it allows more abundance and opportunities to flow into our lives. When we are stingy and afraid of losing everything, we tend to attract more debt and hardship, because that is where we are directing all of our energy. You have to consciously and as often as possible be what you want to experience. It's simple, but very complex to understand and implement on a deeply spiritual level. If you expect something for nothing, then you are violating the law. Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
That's true. I just hate when people say, "Oh, I'm finna go do something for somebody because I know God gonna bless me."
Yeah, that's expecting it, right?
Yeah, I hate that, because you just doing it just to doing it.
Right.
Like, you expect something to come out of it.
Right.
Like, I tell my kids, I'm like, we only give money if somebody need it. We only gonna give it to a certain person. So I don't want nothing back from it. I don't need nothing back from it. But as long as I know that you good, I'm happy.
Okay. It says, give what you have and be what you want to see, and those things will come back to you. So the way I take that is, of course, being generous, right? But what about be what you want to see? So now this is getting into a part of the law of attraction, being able to vision who you want to be.
Right.
You know what I mean? So and see those things coming back to you. So vision yourself being a very generous person, you know what I mean? Taking care of people the best way you can, offering assistance, and then that's supposed to come back to you. Mr. Jason Gomes, talk to me.
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do believe that, because if you want to be, it's something simple. If you want to go play basketball, but you hanging out on the football field, ain't nothing gonna happen.
Okay.
You got to be on the basketball. You got to be in the game for that to happen. So I really do actually believe that to be what you want people to see. If you want to receive love, but you don't give any, it just
right. Okay.
Or even
So this is reaping what you sow.
Yeah.
Right. So how about it says, when we are generous and proactive, it allows more abundance and opportunities to flow into our lives. So it's saying we should practice being more proactive at being generous to people. Now, I enjoy being generous to people. You understand what I mean? Like, I enjoy helping people if I can help. I don't look for nothing in return, because I feel like a lot of times that can ruin friendships. Yeah. You understand what I mean? Like, we all have those friends or family members that if you're going to do something for them, you better off just doing it with no expectation of anything coming back in return. Because if you do, it's a chance they might not honor it.
You don't want to deal with people.
Right. They might not honor it, and then you end up in a particular situation. But I do like being generous. I don't do it for anything in return. I actually never felt like anything came in return. But maybe that's just how good the compensation is. You don't even know that you're getting it back, right? But I just do it because, I think we're taught that when we're young. Help people out, so forth and so on. And I've had some experiences that made me realize, wow, maybe it's something about me that's making people think I'm capable of being generous. So I'll tell you why I say that, right? Snowstorm, probably about 5 or 6 years back, I'm coming down Route 40 in Edgewood, and there was a white woman standing on the side of the road, and she flagged me down, right? And long story short, asked me if I could take her down to Aberdeen, because her car had broke down. Her son couldn't get up here to her because of the snowstorm, right? So I'm like, all right, no problem. You know what I mean? I went on and, took her down there. Now, when she was in the car, she was explaining, I'm not a prostitute or anything like that. I'm like, I'm not a John, so we good. Right? You know what I'm saying? We good, right? But during the conversation, I was curious. I asked her, why did you flag me down? First of all, I'm black and you're white. So I'm already shocked that you feel your comfort zone was with me, right?
In Harford County.
In Harford County, right? Yeah. And because it was plenty of white people riding by. She could have flagged down somebody white. So she said, well, I could see you when I looked through your front shield. She said, you just look like you had kind eyes. I said, wow, okay. I said, we'll go with that. Kind eyes for 2000, Chuck. We're going to go with that, right? But it amazed me that she felt that I was the one she could trust. And of course, I got her there safely. You know what I mean? And she was like, "I'll see if my son can use this ATM." I'm like, "Ma'am, don't worry about it." You know what I mean? Like, he was trapped in a snowstorm. I'd want somebody to give me a ride, and hopefully they didn't need me to pay him afterwards, because I could have called a damn cab if if I was going to have to pay you afterwards, right? So that kind of threw me for a loop. You know what I mean? And it made me realize, like, wow, I guess there is certain energies that come off of us if you are a generous person, right? Because we all know certain people that have the exact opposite energy. Could be a family member. Some family member could come to you and be like, "Yeah, man, so I was thinking about asking Uncle T if he could loan me," and the other family member, "Don't do it." Yeah. Like, why not, man? He ain't giving you no money. No, man, he don't give nobody no money. You know, so I guess that vibe is not what I had and made that woman feel comfortable doing that. I didn't do it for anything in return. I just did it, you know, to help somebody out in the situation. You know, so being generous, I think, is just, it should be just a part of your adult life.
Chivalry.
Yeah, chivalry is not dead. I definitely gave her a ride and made sure she got there safely. And like, it felt good to me as a black man to show her that I'm not sure what made you take this risk on me, but I'm definitely going to make sure that you realize you made the right choice. To get you there safely, you know, I'm not expecting anything in return. So it was actually pretty cool. I felt good about it afterwards. You know what I mean? Like, you feel good when you help people.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah, the other day, yes, I think it was yesterday, I was leaving out the store, and an older lady, you know what I'm saying, she was walking in front of me, and she went to go grab the door, and I try to beat her to the door, because I don't like to open a woman over the door for me at all. It's my job to open the door for her.
I feel you.
Period. And I explained to her, I said, "Look," she says, "No problem, sir, no problem, son." I said, "Ma'am, it is a problem for me, because chivalry still exists. I should have got that door for you. You know what I mean? And show you some sort of respect that I can do. You know what I mean? Give you that. It's about masculinity. Some men don't have it. Period. Nowadays.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, gender roles are important, and people don't really believe. A lot of them don't believe it, but gender roles are definitely important. So
Definitely
I
important. All right, let's go to the next break. We'll be back after this break. Black by the Man Radio Show. Yeah, that's true.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories started in a shelter. Start your story. Adopt a dog or cat today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org to find a shelter or adoptable pets near you. Training that pet to play the keyboard? Well, that's entirely up to you. Visit theshelterpetproject.org and hear more about Hamilton the Pug, Toast, and Keyboard Cat's amazing adoption stories. Start a story. Adopt a shelter or rescue pet today. Your perfect pet is just a click away at theshelterpetproject.org.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Students, when you hear the reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap and gown and proceed into the unknown. Too tired. Family trip. Part-time job. Helping around the house. Sick day. Starting the holidays early. Just because.
Starting in the 6th grade, students who miss 18 days or more of school in a year for any reason will fall behind and risk not graduating high school. How many days of school has your child missed this year? Absences add up. Keep track at boostattendance.org today. Brought to you by the U.S. Army and the Ad Council.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show.
I'm just thankful this year I've dealt with, you know, some growing pains, and I've overcome some things, and I've also, you know, accomplished some things in the process. I've learned some things. Like,
yes.
I've learned that, I learned that everybody loves your work until they got to pay for it. That's what That's what I learned. I learned everybody loves what you do.
Is it really about the pay?
I mean,
not always.
Listen,
but...
the Bible says money answereth all things.
Well,
okay, and there is a place. There is a place where finances is necessary, and when you got kids and when you got a wife, and then you doing everything, and you know you top dog at what you do, especially when you weren't in the same place you like with this radio show. You ain't in the same place you were a year ago. Should nobody be coming on the show and not donating to your show?
Can you say that on my show?
Should nobody be coming to your show?
Can you say that in the middle of the live?
Yeah, make that a promo, please.
Should nobody come on this show without donating?
That is a nice commercial.
I don't care if it's $20.
Donate.
Tune in to Be Inspired every Wednesday live at 7 p.m. right here.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Y'all ready? We back on?
Them I don't like.
All right, well, welcome back, everybody, to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. I'm your boy, Brother Mike. We in the building. Today we are talking about the law of compensation. I would love to hear from my audience on this. Call in 410-702-5657. That's 410-702-5657. Call into the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. Participate with us. Let us know if you have any examples of the law of compensation working in your life. So we were at be generous and proactive because it allows more abundance and opportunities to flow into your life. Now, the proactive part, that's probably the part that I think would be the most challenging for me because it's kind of hard to find things to get involved with. Like, I'll give you an example. One day, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was my conscience talking to me or what, but I felt like I wasn't doing anything to contribute for free. So let me tell you, now I remember, right? I was watching a program and the guy posed the question, and the question was along the lines like, when's the last time you did something for someone that was of no benefit to you? And that question really stumped me. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to really think about that question. When's the last time you did something that was of no benefit to you? Okay, so when we're saying no benefit to you, right, that means you cannot name family members, you can't name your girlfriend, your best friend, because all that's beneficial to you because that's your people's.
At your job, because you're getting paid for that time while you're there.
You're getting paid for everything, you know what I mean? And it really caused me to start thinking like, damn, do I actually do anything that's in completely no benefit to me, right? So it bothered me so much, I decided, you know what, I'm going to go down to the soup kitchen in Aberdeen. This is when they had it over there by, I want to say it was by like Mako or something, right on Route 40. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go down to the soup kitchen. I'm going to volunteer my time. You know what I mean? I'm going to do something that has no benefit for me, just to help other people. Pump myself up. Mm-hmm. Drove down to the soup kitchen. It's closed. It wasn't even there no more, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, damn, it ain't even here no more, right? But like, I was so anxious to do something that didn't benefit me because the question stumped me. You know what I mean? So I'll pose that same question to y'all. Can you think of anything that you've done or you do in your life that is of absolute no benefit to you, but it's of benefit to other people?
I can't even think of none. That's crazy.
That's food for thought, ain't it?
Yeah.
So now you see how the dude got me stuck. You know what I mean? Like, had me sitting there scratching my head like, damn, like, man, I'm worthless.
I think I'm going to go down to the soup kitchen. So right. I'm right down there next week.
Go down to Goodwill or something.
Yeah, right? So, it's you know, it's a really good question. So that's what it's saying right here with, you know, being proactive. Because when you think about us being generous, right, it's usually in the situations where you're having that opportunity to be generous. Mm-hmm. You're not actually going out to find it. Someone solicited you for some type of help, some type of generosity. Mm-hmm. So how can we be proactive when you're not being called to that duty? You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Your day off. Yeah. You know, your time being available.
You can't say you can't find anything because you can simply just Google it.
True.
Right from your phone. You ain't even got to stand up.
I should have Googled that soup kitchen before I tried to go down there.
True.
Mm-hmm.
It was closed, and all I could do was bust out laughing. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, man, my heart was so filled with the spirit of, I'm going to go help somebody today.
But the most beautiful thing about trying to do something, that's why dealing with the laws of attraction and stuff like that, dealing with the universe, it's the intent. the intent is worth more than the actual deed, because you put in your mind that you're going to do this whether rain, shine, sleet, or snow.
Right.
You're going to do this because of the kindness of your heart. That intent speaks volumes. Now, he got down there, wasn't there, cool, but knowing in his heart he was going to do everything and anything to be generous to them people that day. So the intent is worth a lot, man.
Worth a lot?
Yeah, worth a lot.
What about you, Jay? Any examples of being proactive with generosity and doing something that has no benefit to you?
That's like I said, I haven't came across it, and I kind of say I did do. Like, mostly everything being that I work, go home. I deal with people. I might give somebody a ride, or something like that. But it's nothing too out of the ordinary.
It's a good question, right? Like, it really make you think.
Yeah, I've been burning my mind up for the last couple of days. I got nothing.
Yeah,
that's how I felt that day. Now, my story with the white woman, that was of no benefit to me. But that's the best example I can think of. I just simply helped her out.
Because family members don't count, like you said.
Family members can't count because it's your family.
Count, like you said.
Loved ones can't count. This has got to be somebody. Oh, you know what? I got one. When I was down in Atlantic City earlier this year, I gave a veteran $10. Yay! I gave him $10. He wanted some money, and he was like, "I'm a veteran." He had like one leg in the wheelchair. I gave him $10.
You're right. Now, the Girl Scouts is over there by Wawa on 40. He was over there a couple of weeks ago, and I walked out. I don't like the cookies. Don't take it wrong, ladies. I just don't like the cookies. So I said, "Here, take this $5." You know what I mean? I don't want the cookies.
Right.
Because again, ladies, I'm sorry. I don't like them.
It is what it is.
So I gave him $5 and you can keep it. You know what I mean? I don't want the cookies. You know what I'm saying? That's
okay.
Good.
All right.
That's it. I ain't got nothing else.
I know. So what do we think about that, man? What do we think about the fact that we are sitting here struggling?
Well, it's
also come up with things that we do that only benefit the person that we doing it with.
But it's also about like being exposed to something, because if you're not exposed into volunteering, or you haven't been exposed to the law of compensation, you really are ignorant towards it. So how do you know? You don't really know. So a lot of times it's about being exposed to stuff, because if people were, and there's not a lot of elders in people's homes now. So you might have an elder that might say, you got to volunteer and give back, but people don't have that. We live, everything's in America is about the individual, so it's not even really about helping. Right. Really, you see some stories out there, but a lot of times it's about me. Mm-hmm. And our society is not about a group contribution.
That's a valid point. It's a valid point. I'll read a comment here. This is from Terry Smoke Hag. This is Cuzzo. So Terry says, I work the Carolina Panther games for the Optimist Club to donate all proceeds to less fortunate kids to get shoes and supplies for school and summer programs. Mm-hmm. Nice, Terry. Nice. That's what's up, brother. That's a good example. Mm-hmm. That's of no benefit to him.
Law of attraction and compensation. Now I'm bring something up. Now, when you will cut my hair before the last time I was telling you. So now, me dressing like this is new, right? Because I was trying to experiment for myself. I dress in the same thing, y'all. I got my white tee, I got my J's, my jeans. So a woman will always do it. We ain't together, but we just cool. She had said something. She said, "Oh, you need to do this and this and that." So I'm like, whatever. What the hell are you talking about? So I just did it because I was like, let me give it a chance. So I dress up every single day, and and I'm not telling you what it should be. I'm telling you how it is.
Right. Okay.
People treat me different. Crazy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And the thing is, who tells you I'm not a criminal?
Right. Yeah.
There's you can't go. I mean, I'm talking about just simply off appearance. We're not talking about who people are as a person. Yeah. That can be debated all day.
It happened this morning when I met you. When I first shook your hand, I wanted to shake your hand like this, and then you came into it, and I still was shaking your hand this way.
Yeah.
Because of your appearance.
Yeah. So
appearance plays a role.
So I've been doing this for 2 weeks. I've gotten job offers. People randomly always want to talk to me just because of shoes and a shirt. Crazy.
True.
My character hasn't changed.
Right.
The way I do certain things don't change. Well, I feel a little good, because the clothes I'm wearing. And a lot of clothes I just have for job interviews in church. But I just said, I'm going to dress up. I'm going to see what she says.
Right.
And Shorty was right on point. I ain't going to lie to you.
Jason got some relationships going on, though.
Yeah.
I like this. Tell us more, brother. Tell us more.
So she was right on point. So I just said, and most people said, well, I ain't going to change myself. Well, here's the reality. You do have to play into certain roles to get what you want.
Yeah, you
and,
gotta
and after you get what you want, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
But to get what you want initially, you're going to have to do what you have to do.
You got to
Point blank, period.
We
You
talked
got to
earlier
evolve.
about character.
Yeah.
You can't change your character. It's just simple. Your character is just you. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
That's what
you can put on this facade for that moment. I get you.
That's why I said I'm admit I just changed my clothes. Ain't nothing changed about me in 2 weeks.
Right.
Like I said, I could be out here stealing people's identities and making fake credit cards. You don't know just by a shirt and a pair of shoes. I said, damn, people are really that shallow because I don't judge people by that. I judge you based on how you treat me and all that other stuff. A dude can have on for me, I'm really, okay, what do you do? What's up with that? You know what I mean? I'm probably looking at that more from my perspective, but to me, I don't judge people on that. But people showing up out there, they do judge you. They do judge on that.
Your attire makes a difference.
Yeah.
You was going to say something, Yo?
No, sir.
Okay. I'm going to read another comment here, right? So this is from Sonia Jones. She says, start with the elderly, the homeless. I have a blanket and coat drive in Cecil County for the homeless in Tent City. You can adopt a family for Christmas from the abuse shelter or homeless shelter. Serve food on the holidays. It's time, not money. One good thing is mentoring young black kids. That is important. Very nice, Ms. Jones. I like your comment. I appreciate you saying that because that is very, very true. And as far as she says she's going to have a blanket and coat drive, yeah, if you get a chance, Miss Sonia Jones, email me some information on that. I have items I'd like to donate. The email is blackbydemand4you@gmail. So it's black, by is spelled B-U-Y, demand, the number 4, letter U, @gmail. I will type it in also so you can have it. Yeah, I'd love for you to email me some information on that so I too can add to helping out. Because I got clothes and stuff that I'll be trying to get rid of, and I don't do, like Goodwill and all that anymore because I found out they just be selling my clothes.
Yeah, they resell them.
You know what I mean? They just getting paid. So I'm not trying to supply nobody free products for the store. But she says that this is for, Tent City, it's a blanket and coat drive. I'd love to participate in that. So I typed it in for you. Please email me and let me know how I can get involved in that. Black by the Man wants to support that. So yeah, that's a good example though. Like she said, giving away clothes and helping somebody out, with the things that they need. So I read another comment here. This is Miss Antonia Osborne. She says, my daughter Princess goes and gives pocketbooks filled with hygiene supplies to homeless women. It's called The Love of Princess. Oh, wow. Nice. Because that's items that, people need. Like, I remember being young. My mother was really, really good for that.
That's my mom.
Oh, that's your mom's? Okay, yeah. Okay, well, let me read Jay's mom's comment here, too. She says, I gave a parent on my route some money because I hadn't heard from another parent. I had heard from another parent that her mother was going through cancer and they had to go to Atlanta. Right. See, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? Like doing things that is of no benefit to us. And when you look into that, you might find out that you're really not doing as much as you thought. So Bronte got one more comment too. Bronte says, on his way to work every morning, I run past some homies and I give them money or coffee and a little good talk to make him feel better. Right, nice. See, that's what I mean. See, that's of no benefit to him. But he's doing it to, benefit them. You know what I mean? It just feels good to help other people. I'll give an example that I just thought of with me. I go to the liquor store sometimes, right? Yeah. Now, being that I'm from around the way, I'm still around the way, you know what I mean? So I go to the liquor store, I run into people, older cats from when we was younger. Life a little hard on them now. Could be strung out on a substance, could be alcoholic or whatever. And, and I would, buy them a beer, you know what I mean? Come on, Mike, buy me a beer, man. Nah, come on, bro, I'll buy you a 6-pack, right? I ain't gonna buy you one beer. So what I never noticed was that my son had been paying attention to this over the years. So here just recently, that situation happened. And then he said to me, Dad, he said, I see you always, like treat those guys, nice. You know what I mean? Like, that's good. He was like, I like that. You know what I mean? And he just wanted to know what it was. And I told him, I said, well, son, they weren't always who they are right now. You know what I mean? Like when I was growing up, they was elders and they was, life was, okay for them. People just get caught up and they get beat down. And I still don't hold that against them in judgment.
Good.
But look, I'm gonna finish this story, but we got to go to another break. So we'll be back after this break, and I'll finish telling you this. But yeah, I was actually.
You are tuned in to BeExposedRadio.com.
So we were talking about critical thinking. So we definitely believe that critical thinking is one of the first things we need to start implementing, not just simply being told things. Or how about this? You know, we tend to listen to people who get assigned certain positions.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So when they have certain positions, we tend to think that it's truth attached to that because of their position, right?
Right.
Is that always the case, though?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's probably one of the biggest reasons we should be doing some critical thinking.
Yes, I agree. I definitely.
Hey, what's up, good people? It's the man you all know and love, E. Digger. Make sure you check us out every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com. Couple minutes left in the segment. Sure. Change is good.
Yes.
Knowing when to make that change in your life. And I think it's important that you know a strategy. You know where you need to go. But change is good. Everything don't stay the same.
Right.
And if you're a person, especially for old people, that can't accept change, then it's kind of hard. Right. I was going to a church. I'm gonna make this real brief. I was going to a church that could not, some older members. I attended the second oldest black Presbyterian church in the country. That's one. And why are you laughing? Yeah, it's bad that you even knew that. And that's a soundbite. Yeah. So
thank you, Eric.
we would play certain music, and we implemented a lot of equipment or instruments like drums and piano, and the style of singing changed. And two people out of the congregation, after the service, they would go up to the pastor, sit down, and say, "Hey, sit down. Let me talk to you." And they will critique.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
How we looking? How we looking? How we looking? We on? We on like popcorn. Welcome back, everybody, to the Black Body Man Radio Show. So we are here talking about the law of compensation. I was explaining the story about my son seeing me, give money to people that he just saw as being, like homeless or bums, so forth and so on. And the point I was making is that, he was watching and he was actually impressed that his dad was doing something that was of no benefit to him. So it felt good to tell him, those particular men that you see me buying beer for, giving a couple dollars, they weren't always like that, like this system is very tough on a black man, and there are a lot of black men who have been caught up in this system, and it beat them down to a point where they gave up, you know what I mean? And so it's nice to still treat those people the way that you saw them when you was younger and they was functioning in this society, and then hope for the best for them, So that was all with my story. It was good that he got to see that. All right, so let's keep it moving. It says, when we are stingy and afraid of losing everything, we tend to attract more debt and hardship because that is where we are directing our energy. Now, I think this one goes heavy with us as a people because we have been trained to want to pay our bills to the best of our ability, right? So, they saying, because of that, it can cause you to be real tight and stingy. And if you do that, it's stopping other abundance from coming into your life. What do y'all think about that? Now, don't let everybody talk at one time.
It doesn't make you think because my dad always said, if you want something, you gotta pay for it. You gotta pay your bills. Da 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 da.
Right.
Because if you mess up your credit score, you ain't gonna never have nothing. You gonna always be begging for something, which is true. But sometimes you be like, damn, these damn bills, they come around too quick.
Right.
And then you get to a point like, yo, I want to live life a little bit. BG ain't gonna get paid this much.
It does happen.
Yeah. It just kind of set you in the rat trap anyway, because that's stuff you gotta pay. You gotta pay your rent. You gotta pay your BG&E.
Right.
You gotta pay your car note.
Right.
That kind of stuff. So unless you don't got the means, but those are things I know I gotta pay in my stuff.
Right.
I got kids.
Some things just have to happen, right?
Yeah.
So with it saying, you know, being stingy and afraid of losing everything, like, do we suffer from being afraid to lose stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fear can inhibit you from doing a lot of things. So it's really just fear, and that's really the issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even like because you got to take. It's just about risk. So if you're not, you got to take some risk that's beneficial risk. You view as beneficial, not like no dangerous stuff. But like you fear, because now you're right. Now you're operating on fear. So now that's your mindset.
Right. You know, like I think what they're saying is like, you know, like if you live with the fear of having your vehicle repossessed. You know, so every month, you know, that's on your mind. Like, man, I gotta make this payment. I'm one payment behind. They're gonna try to take my vehicle. They saying that fear is gonna cause that to happen. You know what I mean? Instead of you looking at it like, man, I ain't worried about their car payment. They ain't taking that. I got this. I'll get them another payment when I get them. Like that's the person that don't get their car taken.
Yep.
You know, but the person
That's
that
right.
had that fear, like, man, every month I'm worried they're gonna try to take my whip.
Now,
Well, you know it's gone.
No BS. That's true on my account because I pay my joint like every month because you know I'm a barber, but every week I pay
You a barber,
bill.
yo, for real?
Yeah. So it's just the simple fact that I feel like the company is going out of their way not to cash my checks. So I would pay in the beginning. I would pay. I just want to say through the phone, so they would charge me $7 just for paying my bill. I said I ain't doing that. I paid online. When they would take the money out of my bank account, they said they didn't get it out of my bank account. So when I go use my bank account, then they try to take it out. Then it was like, well, it's not enough cash in there. I said, all right, I saw that. Now I'm going to mail it in.
Right.
So when I start mailing it in, they'll be like, oh, we didn't get it yet. It's
Oh, yeah.
certified.
Right.
I know it's there. Go look for it. Oh,
somebody signed for
it's
it. I
always
know it's
something
there.
like, then they're going to send a letter, oh, we ain't got 2 of your joints. We coming in a couple weeks to come get your truck. I'm like, well, if you don't find that goddamn money.
You like, no, you mean y'all gonna be looking for my truck in 2 weeks. You ain't gonna find it.
It's just
You know what I
crazy
mean?
because I'm saying I spent so much money to get the truck. Ain't no way in hell I'm gonna give you the truck. So that's what I'm at with it. It's more so because I spent so much. You can't afford to give it back up. You know what I mean? So until you pay it off. But it's a hassle, man.
Right? Yeah, like these bills is a mess. I'm gonna do a show on some things that deal with that. And it's gonna tie into the law of compensation as well as the law of attraction. And we'll go over a couple of those things. Okay, so it says you have to consciously and as often as possible be what you want to experience. It's simple but very complex to understand and implement on a deeply spiritual level. So you have to consciously and as often as possible be what you want to experience. All right, so let me tie this into what you were saying with the dress code, right? So when you changing your clothes and giving a different appearance, you are being what you want people to see you as. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though for you, all you know is I put on a button up, I took the boots off, put on a little pair of casual shoes, fashion sneakers or whatever. But like Yogi said, when he met you, his approach was different because of your appearance. So that's you being what you want people to see. So I think that's what they're getting at with
Absolutely.
that. You know what I'm saying? I see myself as someone who I'm into learning, right? I'm into learning, and I'm a teacher. You know what I mean? So I teach other people about it. That's how I vision myself, and that turns out to be what I end up doing because it's what I like to do. But I had to see myself as being someone who was going to learn that knowledge and then want to share it with other people. So any examples of you like being what you want to be, but you putting yourself in that frame of mind before it actually happens?
Well, yeah, like I'm doing the IT field, so I know particularly for me the reason we're doing it, like how the girl was saying, I'll go into it more. Well, you gotta make sure you fit that dress code because I can't come into the office how I want to come in the office because that's just not. When I go to the interview, they're gonna look at me like,
right,
nope. So I'm just preparing myself now because I'm about a month and a half away. So now I'm just preparing myself to be in that mode.
Right.
So when I get there, I'm already comfortable. So I'm not even worried about, you know, that aspect of how I'm being viewed, because again, they do view you a particular way.
They do.
So
They
just
do.
no way of sugarcoating it at the end of the day. Because somebody else may be able to come in whatever they want to wear, but if I do that,
right,
it's not going to work.
Right. True.
You reading between the lines already, so it's not.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I definitely get it. Like with me being self-employed, right? I do like the exact opposite. Because I am self-employed, I will, you know, have a situation where someone's going to meet me. You know what I mean? They'll be like, well, I'm going to have Mike come by so you can meet him. He's the owner or whatever. And, man, I show up with black Nike boots on, a pair of black sweatpants with a black body man hoodie on. You know what I mean? I see them looking at me like, yo, he's the owner? Yes, I am. So I do the exact opposite because I'm self-employed. I rebel against it. You know what I mean? Like, I know you expected me to show up, you know, with a, you know, suit and tie on, you know, and try to act like, you know, good evening, I'm Michael, and, you know, but, dog, that's really just not me. I've had to play that role before when I'm up in somebody else's business, but in my business, I ain't got to do that, man. I'll come however I'm feeling. If that's how I'm feeling that day, like, I got visions of having millions of dollars and just wearing Chucks. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just wearing Chucks. But look, we got to take another break. We'll be back after this. Stay tuned. Black Bottom Band Radio Show. Yeah, I got visions of being like...
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
It's time for a flashback.
Now, I'm not gonna say all Aries don't know, but
It's just the one you had. That was
it's
just.
the long one, right? You know. But it's always something that you can.
Go ahead, listen. Can you recollect any signs that you might like?
October 15th or 16th. What is that?
And Libras.
See, I've had some good Libras and I had one really bad Libra, but he was white, so he his back anyway. So I don't.
Wait. Hold on, wait a minute. Demonstrate. You got to demonstrate the back.
No. Ain't no way.
Not the nerve. How they bust? Boy, show how they bust.
And then want to cry afterwards. I mean, what the is the point of the tears? I mean, I can see you shake, yeah, and you know, shake it off real quick. But you crying? F out of here.
What was he crying for?
Cause baby, this pussy make that. You in? I got that good nasty bitch. The shame.
McLean's Couch every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Are you thinking about getting your GED diploma? Well, here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we've got a number of pep talks that can motivate you.
Sometimes things don't always turn out the way you want them to.
You know that feeling? People look at you and don't believe in you.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, we back. Welcome back to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. So we was just talking about your appearance. So to piggyback on what I was just saying, yeah, like, I love, being, myself. Like I wear attire that I think is appropriate for a situation, but when it's something that's dealing, with me and I'm calling the shots on it, like I show up how I want to show up.
Right.
Now, I first fell in love with that concept back in the day when I was younger with Russell Simmons.
Yeah.
I used to see Russell Simmons when I was younger. People in the boardroom waiting on him, right? So you got all these suits sitting around. The chair at the front is empty. They waiting on Russell. Russell coming there 45 minutes late with a Fat Farm sweatsuit on. You understand what I mean? And I just remember thinking, that is so powerful as a black man, because you have to understand that the whole corporate thing that was not created by us. You get what I'm saying? That whole image. You understand what I'm saying? So when you can get yourself to a point like Russell is, he doesn't have to abide by that. And that just did something to me, man. Like, it was just so powerful. You know, like he was showing, this is my company. You know what I mean? They come here in suits because I pay them. But me, I show up however I want.
Right.
See this velours Fat Farm sweatsuit I got on? See these shell-head Adidas I got on? You understand what I mean? And it was just powerful because he's from the streets. And he was making them respect his attire. He wasn't adapting to the way they felt like he should look. You understand what I mean? And I fell in love with that, man, watching him be like that when I was younger. I read, yeah, and he's still like that. I read his book and all that. So that's kind of the vibe I be on. Like, if I have to do something and I decide I'm wearing my black sweatpants and my Nike boots and my Black by the Man hoodie, you know, like, I don't have to impress you. You know, this me. You here to talk to me. I'm not here to talk to you. It's a beautiful feeling, man, and I want to thank Russell Simmons for letting me see that, because you don't get to see that as a black man, let alone a young black man at that time. You know what I mean? I'm looking at Russell as a young man thinking, well, why Russell ain't got no suit on and all that, right? Because it was just above my pay grade to realize Russell ain't got to.
He control the show.
Yeah, he run the show. He ain't got to. But yeah, your appearance it makes a difference. So you can imagine showing up looking like Russell. They like, who this dude? So this is how we're going to wrap it up. We're going to talk about 5 ways to increase your returns under the law of compensation. Number 1, don't spend your time thinking about lack, scarcity, and what you don't have. Instead, spend your time thinking about what you have that you are thankful for. Look at your life and take pleasure in what you already have. Good friends, your home, your work, or family. Whatever your life is like, whatever you're going through, there is something to be thankful for. Focus on that. By focusing on the good, you attract more good into your life. Easier said than done?
Yep. It sounds like it, but it can be done.
Yeah, it definitely can be done.
But see, the mind is a very tricky thing.
It's a terrible thing to waste.
Yes, I mean, at the end of the day, the battle of the mind within, like people say, you know, if you can always talk to yourself, but the problem is if you answer yourself.
Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
You checked out on it.
They got medication for that.
Right, but at the end of the day, it's the mind battle trying to figure out which way is up. You know what I'm saying? So when you're trying to figure out, like, I should go ahead and let this bill go this time, but then next you know, like, I sure like turning my kid at the end of the day. You know, because it's your home. Right. You know what I'm saying? But if you sit on this rent, you know what I mean? It's going to be somebody else's. You know what I'm saying? Or you're going to turn your lights up. So now, at the end of the day, you're like, well, I should go ahead and let the light bill go this time. You know what I mean? It's cool. I ain't got the pink slip yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then your mind is like, well, you know, go ahead and do it. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So the mind will play a tricky battle. So it's easier said than done for me.
I definitely think that is easier said than done. I mean, Jason, what do y'all think, man? Focus on the good. Don't focus on the lack of or scarcity of, you know. Okay, the mind is the devil's playground. That's coming from the engineer in the back, young Eric. Yeah, Eric, you got that right. If you don't control that mind, it is definitely the devil's playground. I agree with that. It is. But go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry, brother.
It goes back to what I've been saying a couple times through this whole show. It comes back to discipline. You'll be happier with being the hedonist, doing what you want to do whenever you want to, and whenever that pleasure comes, that will never benefit you, because it's always going to be some type of cause and effect situation with that, because everything isn't good for you. But to stay, you just got to try to maintain focus. So whether that's an affirmation or just simply just
good one, affirmation,
just doing it.
Right.
Like if you want to go to the gym, I don't care if you go to the gym every single day for 7 days and you just sit on the bench, because eventually you're gonna do something.
Right.
But it's like not going. You know what I mean? It
doesn't even get it started.
Doesn't even get it started.
Right.
So you have to get started with a positive thought. It's gonna take, nothing happens overnight. So you just have to try to just stick with it. That's all. That's all you can do is try. That's it. May work, may not work, but you just got to do it.
I definitely think it's challenging. I think it would work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, I do know when we in situations and emotions are running, it is hard to focus on,
right then and there.
Right,
Because you're trying to control something that you really probably can't control anyway. So if you can control it, you control it. But as a man, you want to control things that comes your way. That's natural. But if it's like, you don't got no money, the bill is due, it's nothing you can do.
So what would it take to get you in the state of mind where you can start applying this rule? You know what I mean? Where you try to focus on the good and not focus on the negative that's happening.
I will say, because I was reading something on the Huffington Post, right? The imaginary part of the brain, I can't come up with the scientific name. People versus people who pray and don't pray.
Right.
People who pray, things tend to happen. Their mind is stronger. When they show the part of the brain that was the imaginary part of the brain,
right?
The part of
the brain that deals with imagination.
Imagination. And that's the part of the brain that keeps your creativity going and keeps you makes things happen.
Right.
That part is activated when you pray.
Okay.
So even if you just start do pray, just even take the religious aspect out of it.
Right.
They did a
just
study.
Just a form of meditation prayer.
Meditation too.
Right.
Prayer and meditation.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But they did put the brain scan. There was a part of the brain, the part that makes things happen, was activated, and the people who didn't pray in the study, it was just nothing there.
Yeah, because prayer, you are believing in a higher power.
And that's what
So you are expecting something in return. You know what I mean? At a minimum, some type of mental peace.
Yeah.
Maximum, something that actually materializes in the world. So that would make sense to me. I think meditation can help us get to that point. I'm definitely not an expert on meditation. After we did the law of attraction, I decided I'm going to start trying meditation. And I have tried it a couple times, and it was cool. Just little segments, 5-10 minutes here and there. I actually didn't fall asleep this time. Because I'll fall asleep trying to meditate. But I do like the idea, of course, of learning. And this is something else I want to learn. I want to learn how to control my mind, right? So I can make everything happen the way I need it to happen. Because I do believe that our mind plays a major part.
Yeah.
You know?
I had a meditation app on my phone, and it was saying, so with meditation, your eyes can be open or they can be closed. But the way you learn focus is, like, at first, you breathe in, right? And you focus on your lungs, so the breathing in and out. And once your mind drifts, you catch yourself, and then you go back to focus on the breathing. So it could be
the mind will drift.
So the mind does drift,
right?
But your job is to focus on that in and out, that breathing. So that will keep your focus in check.
Okay.
You know, before you get started. It was weird when I first tried it because I had tried it
That's
too.
good information,
but
though. Yeah.
That's where. So people think you have to be your eyes closed. No.
Right.
It's about focus. So you focus on the breathing, and then you take the thought that you want, and then you focus on the breathing, and then you add that thought in, and then when your mind breaks from that thought, you tell yourself,
try to bring it back.
You say, I'm correct in your head. I'm correcting myself. Go back to the thought and go back to the breathing.
Yeah, because when I did meditation, that was one of the things that I realized. Like my mind was just all over the place. I'm trying, you know what I mean? I'm trying to focus on what I'm focusing on, and the next thing you know, my mind will start thinking about something else. I'm like, let me get back. I mean, dude, I'm so tripped out. I was even hearing rap songs in my head. I'm sitting here trying to meditate. You know what I mean? I'm hearing Method Man, and you know, I'm like, man, something wrong with me, bro. You know, like this ain't working out too good. But I definitely think that could work, and but it is difficult not to focus on, you know, like whatever negatives going in your life. You know what I mean? If BGE talking about we cutting you off by Friday, it's hard to be like, I ain't worried about
like,
that.
You know,
be in the dark.
Pray 5 times a day when you're a Muslim. You pray 5 times a day. It's called kushur, and it's the Arabic word or humility. And we have the humility. You focus on certain words or certain prayers in the Quran where you have like Surah Ikhlas, a Surah, couple of surahs in the Quran where you focus on these surahs and you're repeating them in the different positions. This will keep your mind focused on going from one position to the next.
Okay.
And every now and then I done went left. It still gets you regardless. You know what I'm saying? And it still gets you because your mind, you're constantly trying to stay on that focal point. You know what I mean? Like you gotta look at a place on the ground. You gotta actually look at this ground to focus on this point.
Right.
And every now and then you'll look this way before you know it. You hear the smallest sound over in that corner.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It was drawing me away.
You know what I'm saying? You got to find somewhere to get that, you know what I mean, that actual peace. Where you can actually say, okay, I can push all the negative out.
Right.
I can bring all the positive. And like this, it's going to be hard if you just at least meet in the middle. You know, you get some of the dumb stuff out, and I can get past this.
Yeah, I think it takes practice.
Yeah,
I think it definitely takes practice. Okay, all right. Well, let's go on to number 2. When taking on a task, do your very best, whatever the task may be. By doing and being better, you draw bigger and better things to yourself. The only way to increase your potential for compensation is to continually strive to increase your potential in all that you do. I like that. You know, I try to do the best at whatever I'm involved in.
It's so funny. I just got an audio book about discipline. That's why I'm bringing it up too. And that's actually one of the things. One of the
Doing
32
your best.
rules.
Right.
Is when you, it's in Japanese they call it, I think, kaizen, where you break down a task into small tasks in order to complete the task.
Okay.
So that's how they get things done in business. So there might be 32 slots you need to do. Don't think about even 2.
Right.
Handle 1. Don't think about the time frame. You got 1, so we're just gonna do 1 right now.
Focus on 1 at a time.
And then we get when we finish 1, we just solely focused on 2.
Okay.
You still have that plan there, but you just got to focus on that step.
That's
in order to get to the
I
next
like
step.
that. I like. And what was that out of again?
Huh?
Was that a book?
Yeah, so I can show it to you when we're done.
Okay.
It's an audio book. It's not even that long, but it's just it's a good concept just to follow. Basically, it was saying to follow it through regardless the result. That's just the part of the discipline. You have to follow it through.
Right.
And you can't just follow it through. That's it.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense. I do try to do the best that I can do in everything I'm involved with. You know, even if it's playing a video game. You know, I'm trying to do my best. I try to do the best I can for my audience with the Black by the Man radio show, man. So just so y'all know, I'm trying my best to bring you some things that will stimulate your mind. And but yeah, I think if you do try to do your best, I think it also helps to clear your conscience. You know, if things don't own up, you can literally say, well, you know what, man, it didn't work out, but you know, I did my best. I gave it my all. You know, the Black by the Man radio show, I can't predict how it was going to turn out. All I know is I'm going to give my all. You know what I mean? I'm going to give my all towards what we're trying to achieve and hope for the best. I mean, what about you, Jay? What you think about, you know, doing your best in order to draw in more, you know, potential for compensation?
Well, when growing up, we worked for my dad, so we had to pick up the sticks while he was cutting the grass. We had to pick up the sticks and pine cones. So if you miss a stick and a pine cone, he'll beat you.
Right. Because you wasn't doing your best.
Right.
Trying to bring
he
your
said,
best
why
out.
do a job twice when you can do it right the first time? So now he will make us pick up the whole yard. We still had to pick it up, and then you get your ass whooped. So now that you apply it to life, even though I'm cutting hair, I still want to give out the best product I can. Because you're going to be walking around with my cut. You're a walking billboard. So whatever I try to do in that aspect, I want to put my good foot forward because you're my walking billboard. Because they're going to be like, who cut your hair? And I want you to be confident enough to say, hey, Jake should cut my hair. Go see him.
Okay,
So
yeah.
That's how I apply that.
So I'm just saying, you know, in case everybody didn't know, me and Jay are both barbers, right?
Yeah.
You remember Jay from the first couple of shows? Yeah, same with me. I try to give the best haircut I can. You know what I mean? I try to make the person look as good as I can possibly make them look.
Because I love that feeling. You cut somebody's hair and they had a bad day.
Right.
And you cut their hair like, damn, man, you put me in the game.
Right, because it's hard to feel bad when you're looking good.
Yeah.
You know, when you look good, you feel good.
Well, thanks, Mike. You put me in the game.
Yeah, I put you in the game a little something, brother. You know what I mean? When you look good, you feel good, right?
Besides the money. But that's the best feeling about being a barber. Because you really are affecting people's lives.
Yeah, we therapists.
Yeah.
Yeah, we therapists.
Doctors, therapists.
Come in and tell us all the problems.
All of that.
We run tell everybody.
Nah. I watched the video when a guy, he came into the barber shop, he's whispering, couldn't really talk. Like, so he got a text, he was real loud, like, yeah, man, I appreciate you. Get on out of here.
Yeah, I seen that video on Facebook.
Real
Changing
quiet.
his whole vibe, right?
Real quiet the whole time.
He was real low key when he came up in there until they hit him off.
Go ahead, new outfit on and everything. We stepped him out on the cape.
Yeah.
Shining.
That's what's up.
Y'all know that one, yeah.
All right, let's do number 3. So number 3 says, pay your bills with a grateful heart. Do not begrudge them or try like mad to hold on to the last dollar. If you pay your bills with a thankful heart and spend your money without fear or worry, then the universe will provide more. Once you start to release money cheerfully, you will begin to see the true source of supply.
Doesn't have to be bills. Throw a rock at the rent, man.
I mean, I think I get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I get it. Like, you know, I think the part that helps me is when it says, you know, once you start to release your money cheerfully, you'll begin to see the true source of the supply.
You feel good about it, you know.
Yeah, feel good.
I had that a couple times, you know, pay my rent, make sure my bills all paid up. I mean, I had a few extra dollars, you know.
Right.
It made me feel good about myself. What I'm working for, I finally got compensation.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it's getting at. Like, even if you broke at the end of paying them, you still was able to pay them. And a lot of people are not able to pay their bills, or they have to do some things they don't want to do to get their bills paid.
True indeed.
Any thoughts on that, Mr. Gomes?
I'm gonna pay the bills, but
you gonna be happy about that shit, huh?
I'm not gonna be.
Not about to be happy about paying these bills.
I'm gonna work on that one.
I tell you, it's amazing because, like, for me, it's a double-edged sword. You know what I mean? Like, I get money, and it's like it's always a bill waiting to take it. Like I always say, somebody could cut me a check today for $10,000,
some bills,
and somebody will call me tomorrow and say, "Well, it's gonna cost about $9,800." Right? That's what I'm saying. Like. Every time, bro, like, you know, and maybe because I believe that I'm making it happen. I don't know. True. But that's just what it seems like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, there's no such thing. Like, I stopped using the word extra when it comes to money. You know how black people, we use the word extra. We'll say that in a heartbeat. Like, yeah, I got you Friday because I got a little bit of extra money coming. Man, I ain't got no extra money. I've never even heard of extra money before. Why do we think it's extra when something's waiting to take it? You know, extra to us means I didn't earn this money. You know? I got this from fantasy football.
Right. And that's the crazy
But as soon as you get it, you find out it wasn't that extra. It wasn't that extra at all. That is amazing. So, yeah, that's what happens with me, man. You know, so I pay my bills. I almost hate how responsible I am. Sometimes I want to nut up. Sometimes I want to say, you know what, I ain't paying that shit. I'm going to buy me some Jordans. But I can't do it, you get what I'm saying? Because somebody going to be sitting in the dark, and it's going to be me. You know, I can't do it. But,
Daddy, what happened to the lights?
Right. Be like, hey, this flashlight, let me show you these Jordans. They shining in the light.
Like these candles.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
See him in the sun.
Yeah, wait till you see him in the sun. Can't see him that good right now. I'm telling you, girl, they right. We ain't got no electricity. Well, I got some candles I've been wanting to burn for a long time.
Right.
Let's set them on fire. All right, well, look, we're going to take another break, and then we're going to get into number 4 and number 5, man, and we're going to wrap this up with some concluding remarks. So stay tuned, Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We shall return.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that. Cool! That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that. Cool! That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Just a Bit Outside radio show.
There is one glaring stat that I read about while watching the games over the weekend. New York Yankees went 22 straight innings with at least one strikeout.
Really?
That's a major league record for the postseason.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statistic.
It is, you know, and then when you think about it, it's like, okay, you know, that, to me, that's like a big reason why, you know, they're losing right now.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that. Cool! That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopText.StopWreck.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
killing these black record companies on the low without saying that, because these companies wouldn't have put that bullshit out. You know what I mean? All right, we back on. Welcome back to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We are going over the law of compensation, and right now we are getting into some things that you can do to increase your compensation. So let's move on to number 4. Number 4 says, if you have attracted something unpleasant, then learn from it and set it free. Don't dwell on it, or you will bring more of it to you. Look hard at the cause of the unpleasantness, learn from your mistakes, and change when it needs to be changed, but don't hold on to the unpleasantness. It has happened. You cannot change it, but you can keep it from repeating itself. So that's pretty simple. You know, it's pretty simple. Any examples of having to let something go? I know I've swallowed my pride a lot and let some things go that I probably would have dealt with differently 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, me myself as well.
You know what I mean?
Dealing with situations as far as like, you know, when you have a kind heart and a person's pressing that button, you want to flatline them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go ahead and swallow that pride that you had that made you 10 feet tall, come back to reality where, like, you know, I'm going to let this one slide.
Right.
Even though I don't want to. This is when you're talking to yourself. You're not answering yourself. You're
Right. You're just talking to yourself.
Like, man, come on, let's get out of here.
I've definitely had a situation here recently like that, and I didn't even talk, Mike. I just let it go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, sometimes we have to take that higher road.
Yeah.
That's been the beauty for me, for getting a little older. You know what I mean? My temperament changed, and I learned how to blow shit off. You know what I mean? Like, I don't let everything stick to me no more. You know, like when you're young, everything stick to you like glue. Like somebody spit them words out, boom, boom, they straight stick. You know, but then as you get a little older, you start learning how, when it comes to pushing people's buttons, right? This is what I learned. I learned this from another source. But you know how people will say that, like, nah, man, you know, he was pushing my buttons. She was pushing my buttons, right? The reality is that no one can push your buttons. No one can push your buttons, right? No, what they do is they convince you to push your own button. You get what I'm saying? They don't know where your buttons is at, but they're just trying to irritate you. So through them irritating you, you start pushing your own buttons. And then that would causes you to set off on them. And then we say, well, that person was pushing my buttons. But in all reality, you are in complete control.
You lost control
of your reaction, right? And that was a tough pill for me to swallow because, you know, when you from around the way, you know, we justify things. You understand what I mean? So if somebody do something foul, and then they find out later, like, yo, what happened with Yogi and Dude? Like, yeah, you know, Yogi banged that dude in his mouth. Why? Well, he had said, you know, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then we like, oh, okay, that's what's up. I get it, right? So we come up with that mentality when in all reality, you know, you can't go through life like that.
Yeah, and that's a learned behavior that you see out in the street.
Right.
So it's not even, you didn't even come up with that concept yourself.
Right.
You're copying that concept for what you see and how people handle their problems.
Exactly. And you take that into the real world
and go to jail.
Real
world and go to jail.
Go to jail, bro. I'm trying to tell you.
That's not even
catching charges.
That's not even your thinking, because even your street slang you pick up, that's still not your thinking. That's what you've learned. Because if we lived in and instead of calling each other the N-word, if you grew up in a situation where everyone said brother, you would say the N-word.
True.
Because that's how you grew up. So all that street, you know, that you learn that by watching
shit. You can say shit on here.
You learning that from someone else who actually is ignorant, but you justify it because that's where your comfort, where your comfortability is. So that's what and it's hard to break out of it.
It is
because now you have to come to the point to understand that everything that I learned was wrong.
Right.
So now you have to relearn everything. So it's better for people to stay in their comfort zone. That, you know, and handling everything with violence is a mental illness.
Yeah, you know, that's a point, and we're gonna do a show on mental illness in the black community. So
everything you have
don't go on there because we're gonna save that for the show, right? Yeah. But I agree with that. But yeah, I think you have to. I know my personal experience. I had to learn how to operate, you know, within society without these hood rules. You know what I mean? Because in society, I have to be able to deal with someone offending me with their words. And me having to communicate back without using my hands. That was a challenge, you know, when you in your young 20s and you used to straight checking jaws, right? You know what I mean? So you go somewhere else, somebody getting out of line, and you looking at that person like, bro, you know I'll bang you in your mouth, you know what I mean? And they looking at you like, and I wish you would, and your ass would be in jail by the end of the night, you understand what I mean?
You will be terminated.
Yeah, you will be terminated, and you will be in jail, and 7 months from now, you'll still be dealing with this. And my jaw, it healed. I'm good. But you, go do that 90 days.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, you do got to learn different communication skills. No doubt. No doubt. So, but how do you not dwell on, you know, the unpleasantries? Because that's what it's saying. If you've attracted something unpleasant, learn from it, set it free. Don't dwell on it.
You have to understand that again, the mind.
Mm-hmm.
You have to understand what is the gain from it. If you dwell on something that has no ease, no benefit, or something like that, all you do is causing hardship.
Right.
So you got to actually fight with your mind as hard as you can to say, understand this is where it is, and this is how it's going to be, and you have to understand it's it. You can't keep going back on yesterday. It's over. Yesterday was yesterday. Today is today.
Right.
Now, eventually it's going to seep back through, and when you go turn the corner, you got to get out of that. That point, it will always come back. Now's the time, the battle of the mind. And I tell people all the time, my mind is my worst enemy.
Yeah.
It's my worst enemy, man. I fight with it constantly. Should I do this? Should I do that? Unless you make a wrong choice, and you're beating yourself up over and over again.
Like, dang,
Or was that the best choice?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Learn from it, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We definitely got to learn from any type of unpleasantries. Let me see how we looking on time, man. I think we at the end. How we looking on time? Okay, we got 3 minutes. 3 minutes, and we wrapping it up. My man. All right, we got 3 minutes, fellas, to wrap this up. Closing remarks. Anyone? Closing remarks. Law of compensation. Do we believe in this?
Yes.
Is this something that we as black people should begin to teach
Yes.
to our children as well as family and friends? Well, let's just say children, because most family and friends ain't going to listen. Let's just keep it 100.
Children, you can save the younger generation because their minds is not.
Yeah, they still listen.
It's still kind of pure.
Anybody grown, it's a little more
They
challenging.
do what they want.
Right, so
Be no rug trying to get all the dust out.
oh man,
It's still gonna be
you're gonna be an argument. You're gonna have something else unpleasant you need to let go of.
But to teach the children, man, it starts with everybody out there. And I look at these Facebook remarks and these Facebook pages, man, and it blows my mind. You're gonna laugh on Facebook, you're gonna joke, you're gonna see things on there. But if you can elevate a child's mind to teach them to be great in everything that they do, why not?
True.
But you sit there and post a fight about a kid beating another kid up.
Right.
With ignorance,
Yeah.
no self-respect,
Yep.
no discipline, and no guidance, and you'll view that as funny.
Right.
But when a child needs an education, want them to grow in life, you won't even press the light, but you'll press the angry button because you don't feel like looking.
Right. Oh, ain't that
You're
something?
angry with education, but you're laughing at ignorance.
Right. Inappropriate behavior. That's what we covered on the last show. Inappropriate behavior. So that's what that is. I noticed that when I first got on Facebook. I was late getting to Facebook. I didn't join Facebook till like 2013, 2014, right? And one of the first things I seen was all these fights of these kids. You know what I mean? All these fights, huh?
I had to think about how long I've been on this.
Yeah, I didn't get on until like 2013, 2014, but I saw all these posts of all these kids fighting, right? I'm thinking, man, this is crazy, right? And then it dawned on me that I'm not friends with no kids on Facebook. So these is grown-ass people like me, people, parents, posting pics and videos of children fighting. And I just thought it was the craziest thing ever because it's like, how would you feel if you got on Facebook and saw a video of your child, your daughter getting beat up by 6 other girls on your front porch while you at work? That's not cool.
But
like, why are we posting that
goes to
nonsense?
where people. It's where people will not accept behavior. You know what? That's funny because you'll accept the behavior, but when it's done to you,
Right,
it's not.
right.
So you don't really accept the behavior.
No, which means it's inappropriate behavior. That's why you don't accept it
Because
when it comes to you.
if a person who accepts that, either if it's their child or not, that's actually who that person is. I'm not saying it's good,
Right.
but I'm saying they're actually not being a hypocrite.
It's like what Young Jeezy said. He got in a fight with his young son because he wanted his son to get an education. But a guy stepped out and said, "You want your son to get an education,
But you telling everybody else to
want my
trap
son
or
to be
die."
Yeah, I'm trapping
Right,
die.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Mr. 17.5. Now you get big money. Now you want your son to graduate and be greater than you. But my son got out there and sold about 2 bricks. He's under the jail now.
Right.
Now what you want
Based
to
on
say?
his info.
Exactly.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, it's a level of responsibility involved in the whole hip hop thing. That's why they made sure they changed the gears over to this craziness. Because back in my day when I was young, hip hop had a very conscious movement. You know what I mean? Right? It was Public Enemy, Poor Righteous Teachers, X-Clan. You know what I mean? It was people in place that gave positive music. So
That's one of the best of them.
Yep, no doubt, no doubt. Okay, well, it's a wrap, fellas, man, and I appreciate everybody coming out, sitting in with me today. My man Jason Gomes, Jay Capone the Barber,
yes, sir.
And of course, Mr. Derek Woodson, brother in arms right here. And what I want to say is, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We try to keep topics that we think are interesting that people can learn from. I think we all believe in the law of compensation.
Yes.
And I think it applies to us because as black people, I feel we have to start developing a code on how we deal with each other. You know what I mean? So hopefully this will encourage, us to treat each other a little bit more appropriate in order to expect that type of treatment in return. I'm not saying don't treat other people that way too, but of course, the Black Bottom Man Radio Show, our focus is on black people, so I have to speak in regards to my people. So once again, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Brother Mike, and we'll be back next Monday to bring you another interesting topic, and I thank you all for tuning in and supporting. And once again, I'll catch you on the flip side. You already know, it's the black side. Mm-hmm. Peace.
You use Tearless Baby Shampoo because it's gentle on your baby's eyes. You make sure his toys don't have any sharp edges. You always